And
You've been listening to Judge Regina Chu question a prospective juror in the Kim Potter trial in Minneapolis. This prospective juror is very reluctant. You can tell he does not want to serve on this jury. And he has some opinions about Kim Potter. He believes she was fully in the wrong. He said that, he didn't understand how she could not know the difference between a firearm and a taser. So let's bring our guests back in to discuss this. Lisa Lockwood is a crime analyst, and Kirk Nurmi is a former defense attorney and legal analyst. So thanks again to both of you for being here today. Lisa, I'll start with you. Let's address that question. Confusing a taser for a firearm. You're a former police officer. Is that even a possibility? They feel different. They're on different sides of the holster. What are your thoughts on that?
Tasers have been around since the early 2000s, used by over 18,000 agencies across the United States. It's happened 15 times where a police officer mistook his service weapon for his taser. And not all of the tasers are yellow like the ones that you're seeing. Actually, it's just started to change where they're yellow. They actually were black and they looked like the service weapon. So it does happen. And we have cases where people were killed, and 3 convictions that came because of that. 2 people killed and another one who mistook it, and the person did survive.
I think that's interesting you talk about the color difference, because I have noticed that over the years. They changed it to yellow from the black, and I think I've still seen some black ones out there here and there, depending on the agency. So, I guess I'm just wondering, they're on different sides, though. Is it a question of what's going on at the time, the adrenaline flowing? What do you think is going on there?
It's 100% exactly that. So when police officers pull their weapon and or pull an ancillary device, their less lethal weapon, whether it be pepper spray or anything else, it's still a tunnel vision type moment. And when police are trained with the taser, they only shoot once. Kim Potter only shot once. When you are trained to use your service weapon, we're taught to double tap. She didn't fire 2 times. So she said, taser, taser, taser. She pulled the trigger 1 time, believing it. And then afterwards, she came back. It was the shock of, oh my God, I just shot him. So to me, my belief is that it was a complete mistaking of the weapon because of tunnel vision that does happen in law enforcement.
That is interesting, what you point out about the training with the pulling twice, because I am familiar with that just from talking to police officers over the years. Kirk, does that help Kim Potter? Just the fact of what Lisa's pointing out, that they're trained if they have their firearm to pull the trigger twice, to fire quickly twice, and she hit it once, shot Daunte Wright once. Absolutely a tragedy, but as far as considering first-degree manslaughter and second-degree manslaughter, do those facts help Kim Potter? Could the jury just find that this was just an awful mistake and not a crime?
Yeah, certainly, and I think that's obviously the defense's position is this was a tragic mistake, and we see so many, building off what Lisa said and some of the other evidence, we see so many instances in that tape where Officer Potter is saying, I'm going to tase you, I'm going to tase you. And then the action she took that Lisa just described, shooting once, is consistent with that intent, right? So that really makes it hard, from the way I see things anyway, for this government to prove that she intentionally committed an act. It becomes then negligent, a homicidal act, I should say. And it becomes a matter of negligence. Was her decision in that second, and I'm sure that the evidence is going to come out that how many seconds it was, is her decision in that second to grab the wrong weapon, is that culpable negligence? And that's going to be, I think, an uphill battle for the state to prove, given the deference that juries tend to give law enforcement when they sit down in that jury box.
And picking a jury in this case, I don't know if it'll be on the same level as the Derek Chauvin trial, where it will be incredibly difficult. But this is the second incredibly high-profile, high-profile trial in Minnesota, in Hennepin County this year, involving a police officer. So, how difficult do you think it's going to be for them to seat a jury?
I think this case is going to be maybe a little easier because I don't think it's quite reached the high profile status that Derek Chauvin did. And Derek Chauvin's case involved a lot of officers that we saw the tape over and over again. Officer Potters was kind of in the shadow of the Chauvin trial, right? So I think there's going to be a little bit less, but you always have that issue in these high profile cases, particularly in the area of when we have videotape, because so many people have the opportunity to view that videotape. So many people have the opportunity to see it over and over again and form those opinions. And then jurors could come in with preconceived notions and or agendas to advance what they think that should be the outcome, even though they claim they're going to be fair and impartial. So you have to watch out for those covert jurors in this situation.
Yeah, it definitely it probably has not risen to the level of Derek Chauvin. I mean, that was something that was watched and seen around the world. Not that this wasn't, and this happened during the Chauvin trial. So I remember we were up there when this happened. So it was just adding one more thing that was going on in Hennepin County at that time. It was pretty crazy. So we're going to take a quick break and do more and talk more about some other cases and maybe go back into jury selection. So stay with us here. You're watching Law and Crime.